one.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeff Buchman.
And my name is Daniel Arabo.
And we're the Belt team. We're coming to you from the Google Sunnyvale office, currently at the Tech Exchange program. And the app that we built for our senior project is called Belt. Belt is the Black Business Directory. Why might you need a Black Business Directory?
I'm glad you asked. There's some couple of problems in the Black community about the cash flow. Firstly, consumers who are trying to find Black businesses to support can't find them. And also, there are young Black entrepreneurs who are trying to find their customer base, but they have trouble finding them because of several issues. One of those issues being scattered information about where Black businesses are in the area. Another issue is unverified information. Are we really sure if this business is a Black-owned business? The people that our app is trying to target are people who want to find quality Black businesses in their area. We also want to help new business owners find a new customer base. And the way this app would be served to these different types of customers is via the web. At Belt, we want to find organizations and support their cause because they want to support the Black community around them. We also want to create a good pipeline between consumers who want to support Black businesses in their area and young Black entrepreneurs just starting up and keep the cash flow in the Black community.
So the core features that we have for an end user, which is somebody that's looking for Black-owned businesses, is that you can find Black-owned businesses in your desired city in the area that you're at. You can filter these businesses by the name and category. You can view internal Belt reviews and ratings for the business. You can view the photos that are usually uploaded by the business owner or an admin. You can see what people are saying about that business on Twitter. You get to maintain a profile, and you get a clean and modular user interface.
As a business owner, on the application, I should be able to send a request to have my business listed on the Belt directory. I should also be able to upload photos about my business and information about it. And also, I also want to be able to see how my business is performing and what people are saying about my business, and I want an easy and clean UI for me to be able to do this.
On the administration segment of the core features, an admin is able to come in, add, edit, or delete business information. They could add or delete business photo. We have a built-in mailing system where admins are able to receive requests from users or business owners. And we have locked app routes. This essentially means that all the admin components of our website are locked down. So even if a malicious or unauthorized user were to get access to those links or those URLs, they wouldn't be able to access our directory and add things. And also, we make sure that the admins have a clean and modular user interface to do all of this maintenance. Our tech stack. We're using a couple different things. On the front end, we have AngularJS with Material Design. On the back end, we're running a cloud function on Google Cloud. We have a real-time database that is on Firebase. We use Firebase storage for hosting the photos and the image files for the different businesses. And the website is hosted via Firebase hosting. And we're using about five different APIs. We're using the Google Geocoding API, the Google Maps API, the Twitter API, the OEmbed API, and we ended up building a custom API which is running on the Google Cloud that we mentioned earlier, and we call it the Belt API. So overall, this is the architecture for Belt. When a client goes to Belt, their request is sent to the Firebase hosting server. That server then has the possibility of interacting with three different kinds of services. It can interact directly with the geoencoding API for conversions of addresses to coordinates for the maps. It can connect directly and have conversation with the real-time database, send data and receive data. Or it can access the Belt API, which is running on a cloud function. Now, the Belt API interfaces the Twitter API and OEmbed API. The Twitter API sends the tweets. The Belt API then uses the OEmbed API to get the HTML for embedding the tweets on the website and sends that back to the hosting server, which then serves the HTML file back to the client. Within this entire architecture, you can realize that the only services that interact directly with our database is the hosting server. This allows for an extra layer of security that prevents any of our other mobile backends from getting in to our data. So now we're going to show you a quick demo of the application being used. We're going to first come in as a user looking for a business and, maybe review a couple businesses. Then we're going to come in as a business owner that would like to add their business to the directory and place a request to the admins. Then we're going to switch over to the admin segment and show some of the core features, being able to service those requests that are received in the admin inbox, being able to add, edit business information, add or edit photos, and things of the like.
The Belp Splash page. It says, welcome to the Belp app, and we have the ability to log in either via social media or manually. You have the option of Facebook, Twitter, or Google, and today we're going to go ahead and use Google to log in. So upon clicking it, we're able to select the account that we want to log in with, and I'm going to select my Howard account, and we're going to go ahead and log in. On the home page, you're able to see a business near you. You can filter by the state and by the category. Say we wanted to find businesses in Alaska. It says Belp is not active in Alaska yet. So for the states that we don't have data points for yet, we'll let the user know that we don't have any data points. But we do have some data points for DC, so let's see what we have in DC. Upon clicking Find Businesses, you'll be taken to the business listing page. On the right-hand side, you have a list of all the businesses that fit within the state that we have data points for, and you're able to filter through this list. You can either filter by name, which is, it does a live filter through the list, or you can filter by category. We can look specifically for bars, or we can look for specifically for other categories. When viewing a business, you have the option to maybe hide the list or hide the map. It gives just to see more information about that business. And the information that's available to you is the rating of the business, the photos, some reviews, and you can see what people are actually saying on Twitter. So this person says morning love at Calabash Tea Bar. As you can see, we're reviewing Calabash Tea Bar. What's interesting is that every business has their own personalized information that we pull for them. So these are the tweets that people were saying about busboys and poets. If we go back here, we can see that a review was left for this business. If we wanted to leave our own review, and maybe I agree with Daniel that this restaurant is alright, so I'll say, yeah, I agree. So we can post that, and you can see for my review, I have an option to edit or delete it. I can edit this and say, I disagree. It sucks. And now my comment has been updated, and the time has been updated, and we can also delete this comment altogether. So this covers some of the core functionalities of this user interface for the Belp app on the user side. Users are also able to contact us, and we say users or business owners can use this contact form. A business owner can put in their information, testing, right? Let's just put my information, and we can say, please let me add my business, and we can go ahead and send that email. Now when we send this email goes straight to the admin inbox. So let's log in with an admin account. So we're going to go ahead here and select an administrator account. My @Gmail has admin access, so we're going to use that to log in today. So upon logging in, we can see that the admin account has some options that we didn't see before. Now we see an option to add business, and we also see an inbox. If we look through the inbox really quickly, we can see the message that I recently just sent at the time frame. Please add my business. And we can view other emails that are currently sitting in the admin inbox. We can go ahead and delete the emails too that we have already read or we're not going to reply to. And we can also grant any user that has requested for access. There's a button here that will grant them access to be able to add their business to this directory. They'll be able to log in and see the add business page. And speaking of which, let's look at the add business page. On here, we're able to add a business to the directory. So let's go ahead and add a test business. And this business has successfully been added it doesn't have reviews yet, and there are it's just searching for the word test, so that's why it's getting tweets for this, because it's searching for the business name. We can go ahead and edit this business. If we wanted to add photos, we can add some photos for this business, and I'm going to select 2 photos here, and we're able to save it. And if we go back here, we'll be able to see the photos that's been added to the business. And as administrators, we can go ahead and delete this business. And now, if we refresh, we'll see that the test business is gone from this list. And even if we search for it, that business is completely gone. That completes the full tour of this application. And thank you for your time.
Some of the challenges we face while developing this app is that the Google Map markers. So this is the whole reason why the geoencoding API came into play. Usually when a business owner uploads their information, they're going to post an address that is just represented as a string. You can't really use those strings to place maps, to place markers on a map. You need to convert that address string into coordinates, longitude and latitude. And we're using the geoencoding API. The next problem we face is cross-origin resource sharing. This happens when you have some server that is being hosted in some environment, some domain, and you have another client application or another service that is trying to request resources from that server, but because it's in another domain, those kind of interactions are prohibited unless the server allows for the cross-origin referencing. So we had issues with our BELP API with getting data until we had to go in and change the HTTP headers to allow cross-origin resource sharing because our BELP API was running on the Google Cloud and our application was running on Firebase, so 2 different domains. Next, our tweets could not just easily be embedded into the website. Usually the way that Twitter has the documentation for you to embed the tweet is that you got to put an asynchronous tag in your HTML header and then paste the embedding code, the HTML markup, just regularly. But Angular does not allow for asynchronous tags, so therefore we couldn't use the Twitter widget script to embed these tweets, and we had to come up with a workaround.
Another problem we faced was the mailing system. So, as a user, a user wants to find a way to send a message to the admin to say, okay, to make like to contact the admin, or a business wants to request that their business can be added. How do they do this? They try to send a contact or message to belt@gmail.com, but there was a problem with that because we would have to configure a mail server on our end. But however, since we're running a web server trying to communicate 2 protocols, the SMTP and the HTTP, it was not going to be possible. So we'd have to create another mail server, which is quite complex to make in this short amount of time, and it will cost us money to do that. And another problem we faced was AngularJS itself. The framework is a very popular framework and it has a very wide community. However, its learning curve is pretty steep. I personally had trouble with AngularJS, and then I wasn't really able to get into AngularJS and the front end stuff a lot. Another problem was Google Auth. For a day, Google Auth was just down, so bug fixing was pretty difficult because we weren't sure how the bugs were coming in, because if Google Auth was down, we couldn't connect to Firebase. Users couldn't log in. We couldn't check who's logging and using Google. So that was another problem that we faced.
Amongst all these problems, we decided to come up with some creative ways to optimize the application. One of the ways we optimized was getting the coordinates. Once again, using the geocoding API provided by Google to convert those address strings and get the coordinates so that we can place pins on the map. Next, embedding the tweets. Like I said, we couldn't use the script that was provided by Twitter. Therefore, we had to configure our own component that would be able to convert the HTML embedding that we were getting to post, to have the tweets embedded on our website while using AngularJS. Next, when businesses have a lot of, I'll say, activity on Twitter, there's a lot of people talking about it, it takes a little bit of time to load the page for that specific business, simply because our server is trying to make a trip to the BELP API. The BELP API then has to make a trip to Twitter, get that data, get the embedding, and send that back. That's a lot of communication. So that slows down the load time of that specific page. We decided a way to improve the performance and the speed of the website was to cache the tweets. Once we've made a trip to get tweets for a specific business, we cache those tweets, and those tweets remain cached for 24 hours. If the 24-hour period has passed, then we'll make another trip. But within those 24 hours, once the user loads the page for that business, we will not make any more requests to get tweets.
So to solve the problem that we discussed earlier about our mail server issue, we decided to implement an internal messaging system so that businesses who want to request the business to be added can have a way to reach the administrators. The way we did that was by using an internal messaging system. Since we have users, different types of users, business users, actual users, and admin users, we decided to just create a one-way messaging system from business users to us, the admin users, so that we can get their messages and add their business to the Bell directory.
So in the next iteration of Bell, there's a couple things we want to do. Starting off, we want to fully build the mail system. We right now have a system that is kind of working in a one-way fashion where users and business owners can contact us, but right now we're not able to reply and send mail directly back to their inbox. We want to get that system fully built out and get a two-way communication working. Next, we want a more responsive design. We know that with these applications, the styling in the user interface comes weighs a lot on user how you retain users. So we definitely want to have a more interactive and responsive user interface. Next, we want to start tracking user data. We want to know how users are interacting with the website, what businesses they're visiting, and how much traffic that a user is giving to a specific business. Maybe their favorite business, they're rating it, they're looking at the photos. We want to start tracking that data.
Another possible future implementation is we want a personalized dashboard for each user. So a user that is trying to view a business, they could have different colors of their navigation bars, different styling of their business, of the way businesses are seen on their end, on their client side. Another future implementation is a way for businesses to track page traffic. Obviously, if you're a business owner, you want to view how many people are viewing your business, how many people are viewing the information, how many people know how many hours, what your hours are. Another future implementation is a full review system with replies. Currently now, we have a list-based review system where there's just one review after another for each business. What a future implementation would be more like a tree structure, where there could be a reply to a review and a comment after a reply, and then it could nest as deep as possible.
So, as we are so excited to work on these future implementations and iteration of the app, we're also open for questions and inquiries about maybe how certain things work or why we chose a certain design aspect or the architecture for the application that we did. So feel free to contact us. I have my email. I'm Jeff, and that's Daniel. We have our contact information there. So feel free to contact us for more information and questions regarding the app. The app is also live and being hosted on Firebase. So if you go to belt-application.firebase.com, you can interact with it and kind of get a first-hand experience of what it's like to use Belt. So without further ado, we thank you for your time.